Okay, so first you want to go on HAR or you can go directly on Matrix, but I'm going to show you from HAR, you're going to click on your picture on the right and you're going to click on members only area. And then we're going to press access Matrix MLS. In this case, this is our scenario. So our buyer's name, right? His name is John Doe and his budget is no more than $600,000. His location preference is Sugarland, right? And he wants 3 or more bedrooms. He wants a study. He does not want a pool. He really wants the primary bedroom to be downstairs and he wants the property to be 2 stories. So this is going to be a single family home search. So what you're going to do is you're going to come up here where it says search and you're just going to wave your mouse over it. You're going to scroll down to where it says single family and we're going to press on quick single family. And that's going to land you here. So we're going to need the buyer's information, right? We need to know how we're going to filter this search. And the first thing we're going to look at is the status of the listing, and you're always going to select active, and you're also going to select coming soon because typically with coming soon listings, it's going to be in the market within the next 3 days. And if you want, you can also choose option pending or option or pending continue to show, or even pending, but you have to realize that that means that that property is already under contract. So in order for your buyers to be able to purchase it, they would have to, get out of that contract and back on the market. So in this case, we're going to select coming soon and active. And then we're going to go to the right where it says price and days on the market, right? So as we saw here, my buyer's budget is no more than $600,000. And again, you want to make sure that your buyer has a pre-approval before you start searching for them, because searching for a property without a pre-approval is kind of like going shopping without a budget, without knowing how much you have in your cart to spend. So we're going to go ahead to where it says price. Since our budget is 600 or less, what we're going to do is put 600 and pay attention that the zero is already included, so you don't need to put the other 3 zeros. And we're going to put the negative sign. This is if your client is looking for whatever number less than that. So let's say your client says they want a property less than $350,000. That is their budget, that is their limit. You would put $350,000 negative sign. But let's say for some reason your clients are like, they don't want anything less than $500,000, like hypothetically. What you're going to do is put 500 and you're going to put the plus sign. And that way, all of the listings that are going to show are going to be $500,000 or more. But let's say your clients want to stay in a range, right? They want a home anywhere from $200,000 to $500,000. That's when you would go ahead and put the first number, which is 200, and then we're going to put the negative sign again, and then we're going to put 500. So now it's going to show us all of the listings that are from $200,000 to $500,000. But in this case, since our client's budget is $600,000, we're going to put 600 and the negative sign. And then we're going to move on to property information. So as my clients mentioned, they want 3+ bedrooms. So we're going to go here where it says beds, and we're going to put 3+, just like how we did the price, right? So if your client wants anywhere from 2 to 3 bedrooms, you can put 2 to 3. Or if they want 3 or less bedrooms, you would put 3 and less. So in this case, we're going to put 3+ because they want at least 3 bedrooms. My clients don't have a square footage preference and or lot size, but that's where you would put here with the same way we did with the price and the beds. And then you have year built. So maybe your client doesn't want a property that was built before 1978, for example. This is where you would include that. So let's, like I said, for example, let's say they want it to be built after 1978. You would put 1978 plus. And that's how you would search for that. But in this case, we're not going to put that. And then it's going to ask you about bathroom preferences. You can pick the amount of full baths, half baths, and then it's going to ask you for stories. So what I told you guys, my client wants a 2-story property. So here we're going to put 2. And then it's also going to ask if you're looking for new construction. And again, this is going to be on your, depends on your client and what they're looking for. But in this case, I'm just going to leave this alone. And then it's going to ask about a pool. You guys, this is very important. People are very specific if they want pools or not. But then you have some people that, if they find a house with a pool, they might be open with it, they might not be. So if they just don't know where they stand on that, leave this alone. But if your client is like, listen, I do not want a pool, I don't want to maintain a pool, that's when you would go ahead and put no. And in this case, my client does not want a pool. So I'm going to put no. So then we're going to move on here for the location information. So one of the coolest things about the MLS is that you can pick a location So let's say hypothetically your client works in the Galleria, right? And they don't want to be more than 5 miles away from the Galleria. And I'm just using the Galleria as an example. You can put any location right here. So in that case, if you're going to look for properties that are within 5 miles of the Galleria, you can search it this way. You're going to put the Galleria here. The address will pop up. I'm not going to do that because it's going to make me restart. And then you're going to choose within, how many miles. And every listing that will be shown, they're all going to be within 5 miles of Galleria. Or you can search by city. I think searching by city is a little bit complicated just because you have such a wide variety, right? Like a city is huge, and it's not going to narrow down your search like you want it to, but you can search by city. You can also search by county, but like I said, it's going to be a very wide search. You're not going to be able to really, kind of pin it down to the properties that you know your clients are going to like. And then you can search by zip code. Now, this is my favorite way to search personally. I feel like it gives me the best results. And the cool thing is you can put multiple zip codes, and I'm going to show you in a second because this is how we're going to do our search in this example. Or you can also search by school district. Now, this is really good because a lot of families, they want their kids to go to specific school districts. KDIC, for example, is one that people is very sought after. So if you want the properties that are showing to be specifically zoned to a specific school district, that's where you would put that. So in the zip code, this is how I'm going to do this search. In this zip code, like I said, my client is looking in Sugar Land, right? And I'm going to put the zip codes that I know are Sugar Land zip codes, right? Sugar Land zip code is 77479. You have 77478, and you also have 77498. This is more of the older part of Sugar Land, but these are the three main zip codes, and I'm just going to put that there. Now, if you want to put multiple zip codes, you have to make sure that you're putting commas, but you're not adding space. So as you guys saw, I put 77479, comma, 77478, comma, 77498, and then just leave it at that. And as you can see, so far we have 158 matches. And then another way you can search is through subdivision or master plan communities. Now, this is also great because you might have a client that is looking in a very specific subdivision. They're not thinking about, the zip code. They're thinking about that specific subdivision. Something about that subdivision appeals to them. That's how you can search right here by subdivision. And then you also have the market area. We have Southwest Houston, we have North Houston. That's how you could search as well. But like I said, this is kind of gonna be just too big of a search. But you definitely can do so. And so here it's just going to talk about, whether you want a new listing, whether you're looking for listings that are back on the market, if you want to look at the price decreases, increases, and all that stuff. But as you guys can see, we pretty much picked what we're looking for here. But you still have the option to filter it this way. Let's say for any reason, you want to look at listings that are back on the market. Maybe you want to be able to negotiate a little bit harder. You want to have some room for negotiation. Whatever your reasoning is, you can select that here. But in this case, I'm just going to leave this alone because right now we just want to look at active and coming soon listings. Now, we get to schools. This is one of the coolest features in my opinion. You will have clients who want their kids to go to specific schools, especially high schools, and they want a property that's specifically zoned to that specific school. Now, we have school district up here, but again, a school district is huge. I mean, there's hundreds of schools in certain districts, right? So this way you can really narrow down that search. So let's say, for example, your client wants their child to go to George Ranch High School, for example. You can put that right here, and every single property that shows up is going to be zoned to that specific school. But in this case, we don't, we're not doing that. Our client doesn't really care about school. But this is just great to know in case when you do have those clients. So as you scroll down, you're going to get to all of these descriptions that are going to really help you really narrow down your search, right? So a lot of people are very picky, and as they should be. They're making, probably the biggest investment of their life. And here, it's going to really help you narrow it down to exactly what they're looking for. So in this case, the only specific thing that our client is looking for, they want the primary bedroom to be downstairs. They don't want all the bedrooms to be upstairs. And I don't really understand primary bedrooms upstairs. I mean, why would you want to be around your kids? But cut that shit out. So in order to do that, you're going to go through all of these filtering options and really learn on what you can filter. So right here to the left, we have bedroom description, right? One says one bedroom down, not primary bedroom. You have two bedrooms down. You have one bedroom up. I mean, you get all of these options, right? But we're looking for the primary bedroom to be on the first floor. And as you can see, we have that option here. And I'm just going to click on it. And now our matches are down to 97. But this is also where, if they really want to walk in closet, or maybe they want all the bedrooms up, this is where you can go ahead and select that. And then you get to room description. This is talking about living area, basements. I mean, we don't have basements in Houston, but You have a breakfast room. I mean, these are all things that your, clients might really want in a home. Game room up, game room down. A lot of people really want game rooms in their house, for entertainment purposes. You have a guest suite, and you have a home study slash office. Now, as you recall, our client wants a study. So what I'm going to do is, again, just click on home study slash office, and now we're down to 37 matches. So as you guys can see, I'm really filtering this thing down to exactly what my client is looking for, right? Now, I'm not saying be super picky and really filter it to the bone, but there are some things that would cost a lot in order to add to the property, like a office, or bringing a primary bedroom downstairs. I mean, that's not an easy fix. So those are things that you really want to make sure you're filtering out. Then you have bathroom descriptions. You can pick, if you want double sinks, if you really want a jetted tub, if you want a separate shower, this can really help you narrow it down. Same with kitchen. I mean, you pretty much have all of these options to filter it. Then you get to property characteristics, and this is where you get to filter the property type, right? So let's say your clients really want a duplex. Let's say they're investors. That's when you're going to pick here, and then you have the interior, you have alarm systems, I mean, a dry bar, or maybe dryer included, because remember, you guys, dryer, washer, and kitchen are not realty items. So if that's something that they really want, you really would want to select that here. An island kitchen, maybe your client really wants a kitchen that has an island, refrigerator included, just like what I just mentioned, and then you have hot tub. I mean, you really get to completely filter this. And then you have waterfront features if your client is looking for a home that has a water view. And then you have exterior, if your clients are very, very specific and they want a backyard, you have barn or stable as an option. You have a fully fenced as an option. Your clients might have pets, and they might have dogs, and they want to make sure that the fence, it's going to be good enough to keep them inside. And then also you have the option to pick a patio. You have the option to pick, a screen porch. I mean, it really goes on and on. I'm not going to go through all of these with you guys, but they're kind of self-explanatory, and you need to go through these and read them so that you can know how to really filter this properly for your clients. But this one specifically, you guys, people love cul-de-sac. So if you have a client that's telling you, I have to have a property that's on a cul-de-sac, you can filter that here. And if you have a client that does not want an HOA, this is where you would select that. You would select no restrictions if they really do not want an HOA. So that's where you would fix that. And then you have these disclosure right here, which is fixture leases. And then in the disclosures, you have this area that says tenant occupied. This is great for your investors. Maybe they're looking to purchase a property that already has a tenant in it, so that when they purchase it, they're automatically making their money. So once you've properly filtered all of this, what you want to do is really look at how many matches you have. But another thing that you can do, another way you can filter it, is add fields. You can add additional fields that aren't included in this. For example, I already have an assumable loan field added because I had a client that was looking for an assumable loan. And so I could filter it this way. But to do that, you're going to go to additional fields, and you're going to press add/remove. And here are all of the available fields that you can add to your search. Now, some of these might already be in the search, but you can also, manually search for what you're looking for and really narrow it down. And all you do is just click on it, and it will come here where it says selected fields, and you just save it, and you're going to go back. And it will pop up right here. And as you can see, I have the loan assumable here that I've added, and then the finances that are considered. Another cool thing is that you can also really add something to the realtor remarks. So for example, let's say you're looking for an investor who is looking to buy something that's a fixer-upper. They want to fix it up. There are certain keywords that realtors use to get attention drawn to their property. So for example, with investors, I would put as is because typically, with homes that are a little bit beat down, they're selling them as is. Or you can look up fixer upper. Same with the public remark. So you can really narrow this down. So now that we are done with selecting everything, so we have our home office, we have our primary bedroom on the first floor, we have our zip codes, and we have our 2 stories, no pool, 3+ beds, and then we have 600 or less in our price range. So what you want to do, you do not ever want to press back. Okay, that's gonna edit your search. So what you're gonna do is click on results. And here you will be able to see all of your results. And the way you can view them is you can either click on the photo and just scroll through the pictures, or you can click on the MLS number and get the full agent reports and read all about it. And when you're here, you can press next and go to the next listing and look through them. And when you're ready to go back to where we just were, you're going to press on agent single line display. You never want to click back because that's going to restart the entire thing. So now that we're here, I'm going to show you guys how you can send these properties to your clients. Okay, so we're going to say hypothetically that, let's see, we're going to say hypothetically that I'm going to pick this property. And then let's say I'm going to pick 3, 4, 5. So you can pick it when you're in the listing like this. You just have to put the little check right here, but just make sure you don't go back because it's going to, again, delete all of the things you just did. So you just want to press on agent single line display again. And as you can see, your listing will be saved. Not saved, but it'll be checked. It'll be selected. So let's say hypothetically, I want to send these listings to my clients. And you guys, it's going to send your clients into a client portal. It's going to create a client portal for them. And it's going to look super professional. It's going to have your information. I'm going to show you to you in a second how it looks from their point of view. So we've selected the listings that we already want to send. So what you're going to do is go down here to actions and you're going to press email. And this is where you're going to pick your contact. Now, if you don't already have this contact here, you're going to press create a new contact. But in this case, I'm just going to send it to myself just so you guys can see. So let's say I pick my client. You always want to add a subject. I'm going to add John Doe sugar. And then it'll also give you the choice to leave a body email, right? So typically for the body email, for the first email that I send, I'll let them know that this is a link to your portal because they're going to send their portal as a link. So I'm just going to say, please follow the link to your client portal. And this is also going to include your signature, right? And if you don't already have a signature set up, so let's say if this wasn't here, right here, it would give me an option to make a signature. And I'm going to show you. It's going to look just like this, but it's just going to be empty. Typically with your signature, you want to have your name, you want to have your title, and your, all the information. And you can just type this out. It's super easy, but just make sure you have a email signature because it's a lot more professional to have that. So once you have this information filled out, I personally like to always put BCC me a copy of this message because I like to see exactly what I've sent. But this is optional. But if you do choose this, every time you send them a message, it's gonna also be sent to your email. You can also CC someone in this email. So let's say they have a spouse, they don't really want to be completely involved in it, but they kind of want to know what's going on. You can CC them here. So once you have all of this, you're going to press send, and now your email has been sent. Or whenever your clients click on this link, this is what they're going to see. This is their client portal. And from now, every single property that you send them, whether it's manually or you're doing it through auto send, this is going to be their portal. And as you can see, you have your information up here. It looks very, very professional. And the cool thing about this is that they can favorite properties, they can dislike properties. I mean, you can really get their feedback on this through this portal. And also the cool thing is you can view how many times they've opened your portal or when was the last time they opened your portal. So to see when was the last time your clients opened their portal, you want to be on Matrix, and it's going to be right here. It'll say recent portal visitors, and it'll say the name of your clients and the last date when they opened the portal, and it even gives you a time if it's been within the last 24 hours. So it's really cool. You can keep track. If you notice that you have someone on an auto mail and they're just not visiting their portal, you can go ahead and give them a call and see if they are still interested in receiving those emails or if you should delete it.